Gurudev Charanon Par Sumana Shradham Ke Arpita Hai Tere Hi Den He Jo Hai Wahi Tujhko Samarpita Hai.
So welcome back to exploring the sacred way of life with Kriya Babaji Darshan. So we're going to continue with the topic of the importance of the body and to go into more specifics this time. And I'm going to shine some light on one of the reasons why it is important to include the body. For a long time, at least in Eastern spirituality, the body has been neglected or rejected. You know, it has been called illusion. It has been shunned out of fear that it'll keep us trapped. And in many ways it probably has, because there was no understanding at that time on a collective level how to deal with it, how to navigate the reality of life, the reality of manifestation. So in honoring of the manifestation, I'm sitting outside today and enjoying the wind to touch my body, to feel myself being affected by life. Because that's what it really is about when we enter life, when we enter this reality of manifestation. That is when we allow ourselves to be touched by life itself and to be affected by it and to gain wisdom from that. Now let's look first at creation as a manifestation of Shiva, the masculine principle, and Shakti, the feminine principle, where we can look at Shiva being the manifestation of consciousness, the consciousness principle that pervades everything. It is the unmanifest, the unseen, the thing, the one that pervades everything. There is nothing that is not touched by consciousness. And then we can turn our gaze towards Shakti, manifestation, the manifested reality of this consciousness. So where does manifestation now become important? I mentioned already last time a little bit of, depending on which path you're on, and there are many different paths, they all lead ultimately to divine union. Yes, there is life going on here. But there's different ways to approach that, and it depends on your karmic tendencies, your personality in this lifetime, etc., etc. So where the body-mind becomes important in navigating our way spiritually is when we consider consciousness being the way shower where we are going. Then manifestation, Shakti, is the how-to. So in that way, when we look at the body-mind becomes the map, the how to get where we want to go. And what do I mean by that? Hello, sweetheart. Come here. Come here. A little overwhelming moment of love here. Yes, sweetheart, I know. And so, yes, okay. And so, depending on your personality, you're either going to be attracted to a more transcendent way of being, or a direction that points more towards embodiment, descending into matter. And tantric schools are more descending by nature. When we descend into matter, it's also a way of saying a big yes to life, a big yes to everything. And when we ascend, transcend, it's oftentimes more of a path of not this, not this. I am beyond this, I am more than this. So how to know which is your way? Here is where the body-mind psychology becomes helpful. By knowing yourself from a more human perspective, knowing your tendencies, your psychology, your predispositions, all of that becomes very, very important. So part of being life embracive, body embracive, is also to use psychology as an aid to understand yourself better. And there are many ways to approach psychology. It doesn't have to be only the traditional way. There are many wonderful, wonderful sciences that you can use to understand yourself better. So when we start embracing the body-mind reality, we start accessing a lot of very valuable information that can really help us to sieve through the vast array of spiritual teachings that are around today, and to help navigate us through it. And instead of groping around in the dark, not knowing what is for us and what isn't, we can very quickly start finding our way and actually start focusing on what is truly life transforming for us, what brings us closer and closer to our true essence, to our true soul's expression here, and in that way also to what we are here to gift to the world. Because part of embracing the body reality is to acknowledge that we are not only here for ourselves, like bodhisattvas, we are here also to serve humanity, the plant kingdom, animals, whatever you feel drawn to. It is different for everyone. And again, by allowing the body-mind to navigate us, we can very clearly feel where our passion is, what we are drawn to. Because it's the passion that navigates us. It's the love. It's the compassion. Now let's talk about a few different ways of nourishing the body, of regenerating it, and the effects that it might have. When we simply want to extend our life for some more years because we want to complete what we're engaging in, whether it's the desire for enlightenment or some other great project that we're involved with, then we can add some raw food into our life, some live foods. And there is lots and lots of information about this on the internet, and there's many teachers at this point who are also teaching this way. So these are some of the ways that one can research that and find out and get some support in getting away. What I personally use every morning are 2 powders, wheatgrass powder and jamun seed powder. Now wheatgrass powder is a real superfood. It's amazing. It helps to boost your immune system. It gives you instant energy. It helps to detox your body. And I always feel that instant boost of energy after drinking it. Jamun seed powder is something that I have recently discovered, and I'm taking it because it's supposed to be purifying your blood. It also helps to detox. It's good for people who have anemia, and things like that. So it's another great combination for detoxing, cleaning, giving energy. So these two I mix a teaspoon of each into water every morning and drink on an empty stomach. So these are basically my breakfast, you could say. Now I want to talk about the other way to extend your life, where the body actually starts transforming in a very profound way. And this is from Vallalar's teachings and what he talks about becoming physically immortal, which is turning the body, physical body, into a light body and into a body of love. And there's a few different practices one does. One of the practices is a very physical one through change of diet and adding certain herbs into your daily regime. So I will show you now the herbs that I ingest every day. That is part of the Vallalar tradition. This is a mix of 4 different herbs found particularly here in Tamil Nadu, South India, together with cumin. Now these herbs are called karisalai, thuduvalai, vallarai, and musumusukai. So I will read a little bit about the effects of these herbs. Now vallarai, it enhances the memory power and also the power of brahmacharya or celibacy when one feels a need to practice that. Now it doesn't mean that just because you start ingesting that you will suddenly find yourself practicing celibacy. But if you happen to do that, it will help you in that practice. Thuduvalai, another herb, is a herb that helps you in stopping your thoughts. It basically empties your mind and helps to deepen your meditation. Musumusukai is very, very good for clearing the phlegm in your respiratory tract. It's also an antioxidant, it's anti-inflammatory and hypoglycemic. Karisalai is a herb that helps to take away impurities, stains from your DNA. It basically clears you of all your genetic impurities, and it increases the heat in your body. Now, if we remember what we talked about earlier, what Vallarai prescribes for becoming immortal or turning the physical body into a light body, what we need to do is we need to increase the heat in the body. Now, karisalai is the herb that helps to do that. Then there are also particular food products that will help to do that. One other way, and just a little note on this powder. So what you do is you mix this powder in water and you boil it for about 5 minutes. And you want to double amount the water, and it should boil down to about half, and then you can drink it. If you want to, you can put half a teaspoon of jaggery or country sugar, like they call it here, or coconut sugar or some other healthy variety that you can find in the West. Something that is full of minerals will be very good. Jaggery and country sugar are full of minerals. So then you get an added boost, from a health point of view. Some other things that you can add to your diet are food products that don't decay very quickly. And a few of those would be, for instance, honey, jaggery, some metals, like we talk about calcium. In the Siddha tradition, they even use mercury, and that is a science in itself, and some other metals that can be used for enhancing health and spirituality. In general, what you want to do if you want to increase the light in the body is you want to, as much as possible, stop consuming food products that increase the phlegm in the body. The whole point with the Vallala tradition of eating is to eliminate the phlegm. And this is why you find also in this in the herbal mixture, several of these herbs help to reduce or eliminate the phlegm in the body. In the Vallala or Siddha tradition, they also talk about our karma, literally manifests as phlegm in the body. So when we start doing Kriya Yoga or some of the Siddha practices, you will actually discover that it is very phlegm reducing. You will find phlegm coming out through your nose, phlegm coming out through your throat, and phlegm coming out through other parts of your body too. And this is a very normal reaction to an intensified Kriya or Siddha practice. Kriya Yoga and Siddha Yoga have a lot of parallels in how they work on your consciousness, how they affect the physical body. In both the Kriya Yoga and Siddha Yoga tradition, the body is included. It is considered a divine vessel of the soul, and it is cared for like a temple. Not from an egoic point of view, not from a point of wanting to show off, but from a point of being a vessel on this divine journey. Now, what will actually happen when you're deeply touched by consciousness or the love of God? When it somehow permanently starts changing you, when you start awakening to that reality, and it becomes something that you're constantly tasting, it will actually start transforming your body too. And you will find often that you're attracted to different foods than you used to before. This is a very spontaneous thing. The body cannot not be affected by God. It will be affected by the light and love of God. And this is where you will naturally start seeking out different foods. Because what you will also find that what you used to eat, some of that, the body will start rejecting. You won't be able to continue eating the way you used to. The subject of the body, from a spiritual point, is a vast subject. And there is so much that one can delve into in that. And so what we have been sharing today has just been a very small taste of that. I hope you have been able to find at least something that is inspiring you to explore it a little bit more deeply and in a different way than you perhaps have before. Maybe you're looking at the body from a different light, from a different perspective than you have before. So with the rise of the feminine, let us embrace the wisdom of her, the wisdom of manifestation. The manifest and the unmanifest are but the same, different sides of the same coin. One is permanent and one is evolving. Just because manifestation doesn't have the same permanency does not mean that it has no value. We need to learn to see that it all does not need to be the same to have value. It is the same with us human beings. Just because of our friend or our relatives are not the same does not mean that they have less value. Just because somebody else is choosing a different spiritual path than I am does not mean that that spiritual path has less value. It is time that we stop warring with others. It is time we stop insisting that everybody should do what we're doing. The spiritual path you're on is what works for you, and that is beautiful. Each one of us have a unique way to travel. Let's start honoring each other and be in mysterious awe of each other. Let's learn to be curious rather than judgmental. Because in truth, when we are together, we are standing in the presence of God, another form of God. Om Jai Gurudev.
Mere Gurudev Charanon par Sumana Shraddha Ki arpita hai Tere hi den He jo वही तुझको समर्पित है। हे जो है वही तुझको समर्पित है।